Okay, everybody. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about how to do interactive writing. So I'm going to pop in here, but mostly I'm going to just show you here on this white piece of paper. So there's a blog post up this week about interactive writing, and you may have seen me mention it on Facebook or Instagram. By the way, we're new on Instagram, so if you're not following, it's Teach a Child to Read. With underscores, and but interactive writing is something that you can easily do with the youngest of writers, and even those reluctant writers. So I think it's great for that, because there's for kids that don't want to write because they're intimidated, this will really help them out. So focus isn't great. I have a new webcam, but I think you guys can see this, so bear with me. I'm going to kind of walk you through it as if we're doing it with a child. The other really cool thing about interactive writing is you can do it with a few children. So you can do it if you all went to the zoo and you come home, you say, let's write a story about the zoo. So instead of having a young child be intimidated with, how do I get all those words on a paper and complete sentences and all of that, or a very reluctant writer or someone who struggles to write, that is very intimidating. So we want to give some support here. There's a lot of scaffolding going on here, so you're supporting them as they learn, and then there's a lot of teachable moments within an activity like this, and we talk about that a lot in the book, so I'll model this for you. So basically, any of the words here in blue are words that me, the parent or the teacher, would write, and then the words in red are what theoretically the student has written. Okay, so I would come to the whiteboard. It could be a chalkboard. You could just do it on paper, and you don't have to do different colors. I just did that for you guys to see who wrote what, if this were a real situation. So I would start out with, okay, let's talk about our favorite animal. So my favorite animal is, and then let's just pretend this is a kindergartner. And I'm going to hand the pen over to my daughter, who's a kindergartner, and say, okay, you fill it in, because I know that she can write A, and I know that she can spell cat, because I know that she knows all her short vowels, and she's already putting together all those three-letter short vowel words like cat and dog and hat and sat and things like that. So I know she's going to be able to do that. And so she comes up, she writes A, cat, she knows how to spell that, and then I remind her what goes at the end of every sentence. Remember, every sentence always has to have what? A capital, and every sentence always has to have upending or a period. So she goes ahead and does that. She hands it back, and I write, I like, and then she says cats, and so she comes up and she writes cats. Now she's going to just add the S to that. If she forgets to add the S for more than one cat, that's another teachable moment. We can talk about grammar, we can talk about plural, and I can remind her that one cat is cat, but more than one cat is cats. And so what do we have to put at the end of that? We put an S. So you can see that's another opportunity there. Then I continue, because she gets excited. Oh, I know, cuddly, cuddly, cuddly. So she wants to write cuddly. I know this is going to be hard for her, but she wants to do it, so I let her do it. And she comes up with, well, looks a little bit more like cuddle. Now the reason for that is, you've probably seen this if you're working with beginning writers and beginning readers. She's using what she knows. She knows her short vowels, and she knows how to do three-letter short vowel words, so she can sound that part out. Cud. She doesn't understand or realize there's another D there. And then why does she put L-E? Because when she's sounding it out, she's hearing Lee. So that makes sense for her. Now, I'm not going to make a big deal about that. I'm going to leave it as it is for now. Remind her if she forgets to put the period at the end, okay? Then she starts, I want to keep going. I say, okay, she writes my, and then she kind of peters out. So she hands it back to me. I write, cat's name is, oh, I could do this one, Jasper. How does she know how to spell Jasper? That's hard. Well, because she's had this cat her whole life. She's grown up with this cat. We've been using Jasper to teach her the letter J, the J sound. She sees Jasper on his collar. She sees it in writing. She's been playing with that word. So she knows how to spell Jasper. I remind her that every name also begins with what? A capital, so she knows to give Jasper a capital J, and then the period if she forgets. So more teachable opportunities there, okay? And then I start back with he, and she jumps right back in. Now she's really into this, and so she continues with he. She peters out a little bit, she gives it back. Okay, yeah, no, I had that right. So I start back with he. She gets really excited, jumps in, and she wants to write here, plays with me. Now she knows plays. She knows play because it is a sight word or high frequency word, as is with and as is me. So she can do all those because we have a word wall. She has a word journal. We have flashcards. She's been practicing those, so she's got those. So you can see how these sight words or high frequency words are really critical for early literacy. They make up a big part of what our students are reading. Okay, and then I just say, okay, let's finish this up. If I could, I would have, and she goes, oh, lots of cats. And I say, how many? And she says, 20 cats. So I say, okay, come on up and write 20. Now we're getting some math in here. Cats. She puts the period on the end, and I say, you know what? That sentence, when we say it out loud, we're really excited, aren't we? She says, yeah. So what should we put there? Oh, an exclamation point or an exclamation mark. So she goes ahead and adds that. So we've covered some punctuation in this session as well. And then I just say, let's finish it off because we're going to read this to your dad when he gets home or your brother. So let's go ahead and finish this off with a question for our audience. Do you... And she jumps in, like cats. Again, she knows how to say like. It is a high frequency word, but it is also follows that long I, silent E pattern. So she knows how to do that. And cats we've already covered. And then I remind her if she forgets about the question mark at the end. So you can see how quickly we came up with a really good story. We covered lots of things. We covered capitalization. We covered proper noun capitalization. We covered plural, that's a grammar. We covered sight words. We covered punctuation at the end. Some numbers involved here, and we've really created a cohesive, quick, short little story. Of course, this is simplified. You could do this more complicated, and if you had 2 or 3 children, even at different levels, they could all jump in and write what they know. What I did is I started out with something I knew she could easily do, like a cat, which built her confidence, and then when she started to get down here, she was ready to kind of really keep going and roll with it. So you want to just go with it as much as your child is into it. Now let's talk a little bit about the cuddly. Okay, I could leave it as it is for now. Maybe it's not a good time to talk about this, but if I think that she's ready to talk about this, what I might do is just introduce it to her. I'm not going to expect her to figure this out and master it for next time, but I'm going to explain to her that she was really close on this part. The C-U-D does say cud, but when we add the ly at the end of a word, we tend to double that ending consonant. So C-U-D-D, and then L-E does sound like it would say lee, but it really just says, oh, like little or candle. L-Y is what makes that lee sound, like smiley or sharply or greatly. Okay, that's all I have to do. I'm just introducing that. We don't expect that to be mastered, but it's just setting the stage. It's a teachable moment to introduce something new that you're going to get to. That's an LY sound, and the LE sound are also phonic sounds that you're going to get to. Okay, so that is interactive writing. Use it a lot with young writers. Use it a lot with reluctant writers or children who don't like to write. I hope that you guys found this useful. Drop me a comment. Let me know if other demonstrations like this are useful for you to see it. It's one thing to read about it. It's another thing to actually see how to do it, right? Okay. Bye, everybody.